Hello, my name is John. I am a huge into music, and one of my favorite decades is 90s music. Growing up in the 90s, I lived in Seattle. I was around the whole grunge band when Nirvana was becoming popular, Pearl Jam, all those bands were becoming popular. And I have a very big spot in my heart for 90s music. So, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite top 10 90s one-hit wonders, because there are a ton of one-hit wonders from the 90s. I'm also going to talk about top 10 artists of the 90s. This is a really difficult list because honestly, there are so many. But I hope that you guys can provide your list as well, do a video response, put a list below as well, and let me know what your guys' favorite music from the 1990s are. I mean, you have, scandals like the Milli Vanilli thing in the early 90s, stuff like that, which really you don't hear about happening much today at all with lip syncing and all that good stuff. But without any further ado, let's take a closer look at my opinions of top 10 one-hit wonders of the 90s. There are so many one-hit wonders that in the 90s, it's really hard to say all of them because there's a lot of good ones. But on my list, number 10 is a song that's not even in English, it's in Spanish. It's by a group called Los del Rio, which is of the river, and it is called the Macarena, and there's a dance to it where you go, ay Macarena. And I remember growing up in middle school when this was huge, and going to every dance I'd go to, you'd have the electric slide, you'd have the Macarena. It was like, and people either loved it or hated it, but regardless, it was a huge one-hit wonder. I can't think of any other song by Los Del Rio after that. Number 9 on my list is a group called Haddaway, and the song became really famous. It came in 1993 by the movie called Night of the Roxbury, where they do the shaking the head, and it's What Is Love. It's a great upbeat song, kind of a pop song, very high tempo music. I really enjoy the song and listen to it. And every time I listen to it in the car, I especially want to shake my head like this. What is love? Number 8 on my list came out in 1995 by a group called Deep Blue Something. And it is based on, actually named after a really classic movie, and that is Breakfast at Tiffany's. One-hit wonder, great alternative song. I really like it. It's almost like a top 40 song rather. But it came out in 95, and they do play it on the radio even today, quite often. Okay, and number 7 on my list came out in 1999, the later decade of the 90s, and it is a song that's kind of almost like a techno beat, very upbeat song. And for a while, I didn't really understand what they were saying. It is called by a group called Eiffel 65, and it's Blue. And it's, I think it's like blue, I would die, if I was blue, I would die. I don't have no idea what the lyrics necessarily mean. Maybe they're talking about Smurfs, I really don't know, but regardless, it's a fantastic song. It's got a great upbeat tempo. Number 6 on my list came out in 1990. It was actually written by Prince, but artists from Ireland, I think she actually sang it. She shaved her head, and she was kind of crazy, and she did a lot of controversial things, but by Sinead O'Connor, it's Nothing Compares to You. And I remember watching the music video, and she gets all emotional. She's all crying during it, and it's actually a really good video, really good song, and unfortunately she's just kind of a kook job, but it's a great song nevertheless, and that's Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. Number 5 on my list is a song that came out in 1992 by a group called Paperboy, and the title of the song is called Ditty, and it's kind of a hip-hop song, really great catchy song as well. I really like it. And if you guys haven't heard any of these songs, I really encourage you guys to go to Amazon and go to Google it, and you can stream it and listen to it there. Number 4 is, I'll give you a hint. Ho! Ho! Okay, we're talking about MC Hammer, Can't Touch This. It came out in the early 90s, I think late 89, early 90. And fantastic MC Hammer song. One-hit wonder. He actually ended up going bankrupt. He became a pastor at a church. I think he's back doing music now, I'm not quite sure. But MC Hammer, You Can't Touch This. And I think it was controversial also because it took a beat from another song. I'm not quite sure, but the background music is a sample from another song. Number 3 on my list is by an artist named Snow. He is a Canadian reggae artist, and he's a completely white guy. But his actually title of the song is called Informer. I have no idea the lyrics. He's like Informer. I have no idea what he's saying in the song, but he speaks really fast. And I guess he wrote the song while he was in jail. But it's got a really unique, like, kind of reggae sound / hip hop sound to it as well. And that is Informer by Snow. Number 2 on my list of top one-hit wonders of the 1990s. This is a song that's, let's see, how can I tell you? Stop, collaborate, and listen. I'm about to tell you the song that's number 2 on my list because I can't come a rhyme with listen. I don't know, but anyway, this is Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby. It came out in 1990. Even today, you hear it at the clubs every once in a while. This is, Vanilla Ice even had Cool as Ice, the movie and stuff, come out later in the 90s, which was terrible, but the song itself, I love the music video. It's a really catchy song, and that is number 2. Number 1 on my list of all-time greatest one-hit wonders of the 90s, and this is a song. I actually went to a Sonics game. Growing up in Seattle, I went to a Sonics game, a basketball game, NBA game, and in front of me, like 5 rows in front, was this artist, and I had to go up to him and say hi, and that is Sir Mix-a-Lot. Baby Got Back. I think most of us know this song. You hear it, this is like a great karaoke song. You go to a karaoke bar, and someone in there has to play this song, Baby Got Back. The music video is classic, the lyrics are classic, and that is Baby Got Back. So that completes my list of top 10 one-hit wonder songs of the 90s. Now on to my top 10 artists of the 90s. Okay, on to my top 10 artists of the 90s. There are so many, but number 10 on my list is an artist that was huge in the 90s as far as alternative rock, and then he's now more known for actually doing country. He kind of did a great crossover to country, one of the few artists that can do that so successfully, and that is Darius Rucker, also known as Hootie and the Blowfish. Funny name, I guess the way they came up with Hootie and Blowfish name was back in college. Apparently they thought he looked like an owl, so they called him Hootie, and the Blowfish was his crew because I guess they kind of like fish or something. I wasn't quite sure how that came about. Their first album was actually huge. You had songs like Time, Hold My Hand. I mean, they have a lot of great songs on this album. Unfortunately, their second album that they came out with wasn't nearly as successful. They ended up breaking up, they ended up coming back together, and now he's doing country. Number 9 on my list is a group that actually came out. They started doing ska, and then they went into more pop, hip-hop. So they've been kind of all over. They've been around since 93. In 95, they came out with an album called Tragic Kingdom, and that is No Doubt, Gwen Stefani. I'm sure most of us know who No Doubt is. They sold 35 million records worldwide. Huge. I mean, Tragic Kingdom was probably my favorite album of theirs. I think that came out in 95. They had Don't Speak, Spiderwebs, I'm Just a Girl. I mean, there's a lot of great songs. And they obviously later on went into the more hip-hop and mainstream music. But they started off as ska, which is great. And I love ska, for sure. Number 8 on my list is a band that's been rocking since the 80s. They are still rocking today, and they actually came out with one of my favorite albums of theirs came out in the 90s, and it was called Blood, Sex, Sugar, Magic, and they are known as Red Hot Chili Peppers. Under the Bridge, Suck My Kiss. I mean, awesome songs on that particular record. But not only that, but they have Give It Away Now, it came out later, and I mean they had so many great songs and singles, and they're still coming out with great singles. So they sold 65 million records worldwide. No surprise, that's Red Hot Chili Peppers at number 8. Number 7 is kind of a tragic story. This rap artist, got shot in 1996 between the East Coast, West Coast rap rivals, and that is Tupac. This guy he's been busier dead than he was ever alive. He's come out with more albums, sold more albums than he ever did dead. And songs like California Love and all that. He pronounces his words really well, but he speaks them really fast, and he's got just a wonderful talent. Unfortunately, he just died too early. Number 6 is a band that's also been around since the 80s, and they're still rocking even today. And I'm sure most of us know this band, but in 93 they came out with an album called Dookie, and that is Greenday. You got songs like Basket Case, songs like that, but awesome alternative band. They've really grown into themselves as a band. I really enjoy Greenday, and that's why they're number 6 on my list. Number 5 on my list are 2 rap artists. They're actually put them together in one because back in the albums, like when they had albums like Chronic and all that, this is Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre as one, because I mean I know they're separate artists themselves, but they collaborated on a lot of stuff in the 90s. They had Nothing But G-String, Sipping on Gin and Juice, Snoop Dogg. I mean, there's so many great rap songs that they had. And growing up, and one of my first cars was a 92 Honda Civic hatchback, and going to high school I had a 12-inch subwoofer in my back, and I remember popping in the Chronic CD and just blasting it and cruising, and it was so much fun listening to that album, and it would just shake the whole car driving down. It was really fun. So Number 5 is Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre as one. Number 4 on my list is a band, artist, group that I love seeing every year in concert. I think they have probably the best live shows ever, and they really became, started in the early 90s. They're still rocking today. They have a lot of live albums, and when you see them live, they play like one song and they play it forever. They really jam out, and that is Dave Matthews Band. One of their debut albums, I think, was called Under the Table and Dreaming. It came out in 1994, I believe, and that was their mainstream album. Ants Carl Marching, and then they had, obviously later, they had the album Crash. A lot of great singles on that. Unfortunately, Dave Matthews, it didn't seem like they got as much airplay because, a lot of their, they had songs like Crash and Crush and all that stuff like that, but they really didn't get much airplay because the songs were so long, which is unfortunate. But these, they brought in saxophone, they had every instrument you can possibly imagine, and they just jam out. If you haven't seen these guys in concert, definitely recommend it. Number 4, Dave Matthews. Number 3 is a band that has sold over 17 million albums worldwide, which is a lot considering they only really had 2 albums that ever came out in the 90s. Unfortunately, the main artist, lead singer, he died of a drug overdose. And this group really took reggae, they added to the pop, they added to rock, and they really made kind of a unique sound, and that is Sublime. In fact, Sublime's back with Sublime with Rome recently. They have a new lead singer. One of their albums, I think, was 40 Ounces to Freedom, which is a fantastic album. Every song on that album is definitely one to check out. They have a unique sound, and every song really sounds kind of unique in their own. So that's Sublime at number 3. Number 2 on my list is a band that's sold over 16 million records worldwide. They're huge, and they started in the 90s as a grunge, in the grunge scene when that was huge. And it is Pearl Jam, Eddie Vedder with Pearl Jam. I love Pearl Jam. They have albums like 10 and Versus that were fantastic. And they're still rocking today, which is great. And there's kind of, I guess there was a rumor spreading around. I remember hearing about how they were called Pearl Jam. Apparently the rumor was that Eddie Vedder's grandmother, whose name's Pearl, I guess she made some psychedelic jam from peyote, and they called it Pearl's Jam, and it got shortened to Pearl Jam. I think he went on to Rolling Stone magazine to say that's not necessarily true. I think they named it after her grandmother Pearl, but I think what happened was they call it Jam because they like to jam out or something like that. I'm not sure, but awesome Pearl Jam, and songs like Jeremy, classic songs like that. Just definitely songs that really are awesome to listen to. So number 2 is Pearl Jam. Number 1 artist, 90s artist of all time. Again, this is a situation where the lead singer died, supposedly over an overdose, but it's controversial as far as how he died. But that is Nirvana. This is a grunge band. I think Nevermind was probably the song the album that I really got into. We had the cover of the baby in the water, the naked baby in the water, and it's kind of a controversial album cover. Who'd have thought that Dave Grohl, the drummer for Nirvana, would have started Foo Fighters, which I love Foo Fighters, and you know what, they should be on my list as well. I'll give them a shout out. I love Foo Fighters, but who would have thought that he would have gone on to do bigger and better things? But Nirvana, they only had a couple albums, they had a couple live albums as well, but Nirvana, I miss you, love you Nirvana. So that is my top 10 artists of all times in the 90s. I'd love to hear you guys' video response. I'd love to see what you guys put, and I'd love to hear your opinions. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you soon.